All right, guys, so our verse for today comes out of the book of John. Actually, the first 3 verses in the book of John. This is what it says. It says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The Word was with God in the beginning. Everything came into being through the Word, and without the Word, nothing came into being what came into being." As we read this passage, I think it's always important to know, because I always got confused when I heard this when I was younger, because it says the word over and over, and you're like, what is the word? Normally we think of like the Bible as a word, but in this passage, John is actually specifically talking about Jesus being the word. You can actually just replace Jesus for all the spots where it says the word. And so knowing that the word is Jesus, there's a lot of things we can learn from this, right? The first thing that I love about this verse is that it starts with "in the beginning," which calls us, kind of beckons us back to creation in Genesis when this all started, and it starts with "in the beginning." And then we learn kind of these 3 different things about Jesus. It says, number 1, that the Word was there in the beginning, right? So Jesus was there in the beginning, and for all of eternity through creation. He was with God, so he was with God the Father in this moment. And then he was God. So not only was he with God, but it also says Jesus is God as the second person in the Trinity. So again, in this moment, what we're learning and what we know is that Jesus wasn't just created in the moment that he came down to earth, placed in Mary's womb. No. Like, Jesus had lived forever before that moment with God, as God, being celebrated and worshiped in heaven. Which, I don't know, for me, every time I think about someone living forever for all eternity before, like, it kind of hurts my mind to think about it. But that's the reality of who Jesus is and what was going on in his life. But then, because of love, he chose to put a pause on all of that, on all the power that he had, on being worshipped, being celebrated. He chose instead to take on flesh and join us through the incarnation, to join us to become a human. God didn't just pose as a man, he fully became human. And for me, like, this is like one of the things that makes him truly trustworthy, right? Like, who else would give up everything for us? Like, when you think of like kings or leaders, like, this isn't something that leaders do, right? Most of the time, they are always trying to get more power, or maybe at least maintain, the power that they do have. But Jesus starts his life by showing us humility and service are going to be 2 of his defining features. So, for you, today, this week, where do you need some more humility? And where is there someone, or maybe who is it that you need to serve today? Serve this week. So that when we practice these things, we can become and start living like Jesus. Thanks, guys.